Yo! Green Aqua YouTube channel, yo! This, ladies and gentlemen, was the oldest layout of Green Aqua. It's been standing here for more than 3 years. And today, I'm going to rescape it. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. Some of you guys have asked why the beginning, the intro of the Green Aqua videos is such a dope thing. It's because of this very creative, genius, underpaid expert. We do receive many comments from you guys asking how long a nature aquarium layout will last. And I would say that it could, in theory, last indefinitely as long as you keep the water changes, as long as you refresh the soil by adding root taps to it every 3 months or so. But, you know, from time to time you're going to get tired of your layout and you want to practice your layout scaping skills, which is a very creative process, and I would encourage everybody to do that. This layout, as I told you before, was standing here for many, many years. One of the reasons we kept it for this long is that, first of all, we wanted to prove that it can be done. This was actually a very low maintenance aquascape because we actually only had epiphyte plants in it, and we didn't have any soil. We just had to do the water changes, and other than that, we didn't have to do many things. We didn't have to clean the rocks too much. The fish could swim endlessly around. I'm going to tell you very briefly what's happening here. First of all, I'm going to start from the top. We have 3 lights. Those are industrial lights. We didn't use any aquarium lights, but we wanted something that is really strong and is really focused. We have this beautiful bonsai tree, which is the orange jessamine bonsai tree. It needs trimming maybe 2 or 3 times per year. So my main goal was to keep this line in between the little patches between the apex and the second layer of leaves here, and then also to keep the trunk visible. It's more than 40 years old, this jasmine here, and it's really easy to maintain. I love how this looks. It's sitting in a pot, not a big pot though. Below it, right there, you've got the filter material, and then they used this expanding foam to apply these lava stones onto the plastic canister, which has an outflow, like an overflow, which actually also skims the top. Filter material, Seachem Matrix inside, pumping the water back. It comes through this outlet here. It comes in 2 places, and it's bent so that it moves the water around the tank. Part of why this tank was this stable was the fact that we had a lot of 16 liters or maybe more, maybe 20 liters of Seachem Matrix inside. The water column itself is not more than 180 liters. So we're filtering 180 liters of water with almost 20 liters of Seachem Matrix. No algae, no problems. The water changes regularly. About the CO2 injection, that is a very interesting thing. As you can see, we've got tiles at Green Aqua here. We laid them down when we moved here to this premises, and we already knew that we will have a tank here. And we took the CO2 hose and the electricity to this point, and we've got the CO2 bottle below that counter, behind that counter, and this gas is being taken from there to the tank and is being dissolved. I think, yeah, we have a reactor down there, right?
No.
No. So what do you see, Gary?
No, it has an inline diffuser.
Okay, so we have an inline diffuser, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't talk about the terrestrial plants that Comment below if you know the name. I'm not so good with what? Yeah, it's a big Anubias with white flowers. We've got a lot of terrestrial plants and we've got actually soil around the tank. Let's move back to the tank itself. It's an Opti-White tank. It was made of a very plate glass which was put onto a shape, and then when you heat the glass itself by its weight is going to fall down onto that shape, and it's made of 3 pieces. Those tanks in the gallery are very elevated, so small children can see this at the eye level. So I wanted to do something when we started to do, I wanted to do something simple that would appeal to all those people, small people watching. So right now what I'm planning to have in this tank is the Pontius denisoni, and I didn't want to take this structure apart because that would have created a big mess and I saw no point in that. So maybe I can start by adding some Red Moor Wood to it. So without further ado, let's start improving the hardscape. I don't plan to use any soil in the tank because I want to keep it a low maintenance tank, not to stretch the capacity of our great maintenance experts. Everything that you see above this line is above the water level. And as you can see, I left some Pinnatifida, which is growing immerse and nicely there, and I left some moss. Let's get on to it. Oh, before we go, one of our clients was so inspired by what we did here is that they asked for a similar structure. This is glued to the rock with the liquid super glue paper towel combination. So the crushed lava stones are going to help us enormously to hide this very ugly cut. No. Yeah, it's too chunky. Too bulky. What do you say about that? Yeah, I like that. Some people do not like to use glue. I know the ADA scapers are very much against the glue. They would think that it looks much more natural if you just tie the wood, and I respect that. And I kind of want to do the same mostly, but there are situations like this when there's absolutely no way to avoid using glue. Chubby had just the greatest idea ever. He told me that the problem is that the fish will be swimming with the current in that direction while the roots are pointing in this direction, so the current should come the other way around. And he asked us if we can turn the inflow. See, now it's pointing backwards, so the fish will be now swimming in the other direction. I like the way that we are using this as a vortex. This one is a very intriguing one, and it could go from the top somehow because it's a bigger one. Yeah, perfect. The messy part of the hardscape is done. We will introduce the JBL River sand now. This whole structure is quite dark, even with the Red Moor Wood, which is gonna become a lot darker. I don't want a very dark structure here. I want some light in the aquarium, and if you have whitish sand there, then it's going to be fine. It looks much cleaner now. So let's add some lava stones on top so that we have some detail. I'm going to continue the line of the flow with these lava stones. Let's move on with the top now. Smells like
cow.
Like cow. My grandparents had some animals. One of them was a Reformed priest. The other one was a history teacher, academics. What am I talking about? But they too had some animals. Yeah, I'm gonna place it wisely, hanging into the water. Hopefully this will survive here. Next up, 9 pots of Anubias bonsai, which goes underwater, and I'm just going to place it in the cracks. I'm only using Anubias at the top, and we've received some comments of people asking us about whether it's a problem of using Anubias at the top of the tank where the light is stronger. Our experience tells us that the Anubias will not get any algae if it gets too much light. If all the conditions are right in your tank, which means that the technology is right, then you're not going to have any problems with too much light for any plants. 8 more from the Anubias, which is a total of 17, but eventually, even with less plants, it would fill up. You could divide these into bunches, just put them and they would spread. This is gonna look great, guys. I love it. Okay, some Microsorum narrow that was already in this tank, where we use it in places to accentuate the Anubias. Actually, these have grown enormously during the years. This is the Trident, and it didn't grow, so this is normal. This is why I love Trident. Check this out. Next one is the Cryptocoryne lutea Hobbit, which will go down. I'm gonna plant it into the sand, which is not by the book, but hopefully it will survive. We're gonna fertilize this water perfectly because of the epiphytes. Let's use some Bucephalandra in places where the rocks or the cracks and stuff is visible so that we can hide the cracks. And now the biggest problem, we need to put in the Purigen. So we need to lift this whole thing, which means that these mosses will fall into the tank, and then we'll have to find it again. You just throw it in there, huh? Oh my God. This is great. Nothing happened. Yeah? We did it. And with that, guys, we're at the end of this video. I hope that you liked it, and you're gonna see in a second how it looks in 3 weeks. Take care. Bye. Bye.